Remember that kid, Xavier Storm? Yeah, that's the one. That monster game he had in the Kansas State Championship as a junior. Man, that was something to watch. But the story doesn't end for him. We kind of were in his recruiting list, and honestly, I don't think we had a shot. I mean, we were top 3, but it seemed like he just wanted to stay home, close to his family. So, the story doesn't end though. At the end of his senior year, he decided to announce his official commitment to the Jayhawks after his final game as a senior in high school. And it went well. I mean, he had a good game. Everything went well. But after the game, he decided to go out, celebrate with his family. I mean, family was all he knew. But when he was leaving the field, tragedy struck. His grandfather just passed out. So they had to rush him to the hospital, and they got some good news. I mean, it was just a little dehydration, not a big deal. But a couple of hours went by and his heart started failing quickly. He didn't make it through the night. And to be honest, that was his world. His grandfather was his best friend. So from there, he just shut the world out. He didn't go to class. His grades were declining. He didn't talk to friends. He didn't talk to coaches. And after a couple months of not even reaching out to the Kansas coach, Kansas decided to drop that scholarship. And it just seemed like maybe his football career was over. So once I got wind of it, I decided to call him up and at least check on him, see how he's doing. I didn't get an answer, of course, but I mean, it's got to be hard for a young kid to be going through that at such a young age. But I left a message, told him my condolences, and hope the best for him and his family. But I didn't really hear back from him. So between the Tulane and Minnesota game, I decided to go pay him a visit. I had a couple weeks off, and I want to just check on him, check on him and his family. And they're doing well. I mean, they're in good spirits, but you can just tell something was missing. It just wasn't the same. It wasn't a normal family anymore. But I told him, hey, if you ever need anything, I'm one call away. Just let me know. And he was appreciative, but I wanted to give him his space. He had to recover. So time went on, and a couple months went by in the summer, and I got a phone call. Hey, coach, I want to be a whitetail.
Yo, what's good, YouTube? This is Jay from TNJ, and welcome to the off-season after Season 3, as our Whitetails finished 8-5 to end the season after losing in the bowl game. But first, before hopping into the nitty-gritty, let's check out our rivals here in their bowl game, in the Holiday Bowl. They are facing off against USC. So let's check out the highlights. Here is Shane Blue getting going in the running game. Remember, this offense is going to look completely different, so they're going to need to win this game with a bunch of these seniors. Here's Garrett Colbert, the senior, throwing to the right side. That's going to be incomplete. And Marquette starts out the first drive with a field goal. But here is JT Daniels for USC. He's going to take it in himself from 4 yards out, making it a one-score lead already as JT Daniels comes back out in the second quarter. And here he is on the option keeper, keeping it up the middle. He's got a touchdown, and JT Daniels looking good early in this one. But here is Marquette trying to get the running game going here. Shane Blue on a third down carry. Interesting call there. And they end up punting it away before halftime. But here's USC. They've been hot on offense. Here's a throw to the end zone. That's Kevin Elliott. JT Daniels, 3 touchdowns in the first half. He's accounted for only 2 incompletions. So then we hop into the second half. Marquette tries to come back. Here is Shane Blue up the middle for a nice touchdown run, cutting it to a 2-score game. But here is USC. There's Amon-Ra St. Brown getting open for 17 yards and a touchdown as we move this one on to the fourth quarter. JT Daniels been hot. He breaks a tackle, throws down the left sideline, and he's got Marquise Steep for the touchdown. And wow, this is a big lead here for USC. That's Marquise Stepp that I meant to say. And now we move under a minute left in this game, and JT Daniels puts the finishing touches on this win, and USC just straight throttles Marquette in the Holiday Bowl, as it doesn't seem like Marquette is going into the offseason on a good note because they just got straight demolished 42-17 with all those seniors. So Auburn does complete the perfect season, 14-0 as they beat Michigan State in the championship. Look at this score, 45-16. Wow, this might be one of the greatest teams I've ever seen. Look at this, 216 yards rushing for Whitlow and 112 rushing for Joyner. Wow. I mean, just incredible. 2 running backs over 100 yards, one of them going over 200 yards, just straight domination. And let's just look at what Michigan did, because Michigan State did 7 for 17, 72 yards. Wow. And only 68 yards rushing. I mean, that is just domination like no other in the Natty. So just looking at the natural progression here in this dynasty, 1-11, 5-7, 8-5. That's progress like no other there, as we were actually, I didn't know if we were actually going to make a bowl game before this season. I thought we were going to take not a step back, but just a slight step forward, maybe to 6-6 or something like that. Just an even record there at 500. But man, did we surprise some guys around the NCAA. So the only changes on our coaching staff, Ethan Aguayo gets an extension. 49th out of 126 is not bad for opponents' points per game, and he was 3rd in the American, so that's actually pretty good. He got a contract extension. He is locked up on our coaching staff. A big change that happened in the conference as far as head coaches go, though, East Carolina hires Will Muschamp as their head coach because their coach Fedora left for the Boise State head coaching job. So Will Muschamp will be in the conference now. I don't think we've ever played East Carolina. I might be wrong there, but I don't think we've played them. I'm going to kind of try to switch up the conference a little bit just to see if I can play them, because that's a team I've yet to play, but they went 9-4 and actually won their bowl game. So pretty big move. So we didn't have many seniors on this team, just 2. Slade Richards and Doug Hollis left, and they are going to be graduating, and they were 2 of the original guys on the original team. So next year we're going to have pretty much all the freshmen that were freshmen at the beginning of this series graduating. You gotta love being at a small school and getting some transfers. From Arkansas, we get Peter Wilcox, a decent receiver with good speed at 92. And man, I don't know if he can catch very well because a lot of his receiver ratings are really low. But we get another good offensive lineman that's going to be a transfer here. He probably needs some time to develop, but he's all right to start out. Let's see Lilly here. Patrick Lilly, not a fast guy, but he actually has good hit power and strength, good tackling. I mean, he's a decent all-around guy. But then we get a tight end, Benny Henley. So another tight end that we can kind of develop. Man, he's got good size, 6'5", 241, and he's got decent speed at 77. Not bad. So we get 4 transfer requests. Now, recruiting this offseason is pretty easy for us and pretty cut and dry. So let's just review the recruits that we've had this year so far, starting at the latest guy, Jason Dead. He's a 63 overall middle linebacker. I do not have all of their ratings scouted, so right now with 50% scouting, he's coming in at 63. And remember, the recruiting rules is that we cannot scout more than 50% of their ratings so that we don't know how good they are until they come on campus. Makes it realistic that way. I want to keep it that way. And they also have to be in the Midwest in preseason top 5. We have to be in their top 5. We cannot add any guys to our board that are not interested at all in the beginning. Now, the best recruit, in my opinion, that we kind of discovered in the database was Frank Duncan. And this was not a custom recruit. This was a computer-generated guy. He goes up +9 overall, ends up being a 63 overall guard, and maybe even more depending on how the rest of his attributes are when they're unlocked. But just looking at him, he's pretty good. Shawn Triplett is a JUCO coming in at cornerback. He's definitely going to help, and I like his man coverage right now. You never know. If that zone coverage is above a C, he can possibly be in the 70s right away. Marquise Dorsey, I'm really, really happy about getting. He is a good cornerback. I did unlock all his ratings since he did commit to the school early on. He comes in with 77 zone, which is actually pretty good, but he does need to work on that man coverage. Chris Shaffer is a tight end who I'm really excited about because I do need a tight end that's going to take over for Javon Oliver next side alongside Chris Coretta. And just looking at him, he's got good catching, decent speed. I think he can redshirt actually and have a decent chance of playing. Now, let's get to some future guys. Colson Kavoris will be an anchor on this defensive line come pretty soon. Now, the reason? Power moves, 80. That is what we do not have on this team right now. We do not have a guy with high power moves. Colson Kavoris will play a big role in the future and also really athletic with 80 speed. I'm excited to see what the rest of his ratings are. Jake State Farm as well. Now, he comes in with lower power moves, so I'm guessing that finesse moves will be his bread and butter. I'm not sure where he's going to play. He might just play linebacker and be a blitzing linebacker. Right now, he's listed as a defensive end. Now, I listed athletic tight ends, and Price Greer is definitely that. Now, Chris Shaffer is going to be, I think it's going to be a 1-2 combo with Chris Shaffer being more of the blocking tight end. Like I said, he's going to have some time to develop. And then also Price Greer is going to be the athletic one. Now, he comes in with high speed at 84 with a good, just good athleticism all around, decent catching. But I think that blocking, I just see the run blocking unlocked right now at 60. It's definitely going to have to get up quite a bit if he wants to stay in on running downs. Now, let's talk about our quarterback maybe of the future with Justin DiRoberto. He's got good accuracy, which is something we do not have on our team right now. Adam Miller is our highest accurate quarterback, and he's going to look to kind of be the future. Let's just go through these next guys really quick. Coco Bamaya, I kind of highlighted him in the recruiting episode. He's an athletic corner. Lucas McCallum is a good tackling corner, so we'll have a box safety. Jadavius Mohammed is more of a special teams guy, so you're going to see him in a lot on special teams. And then Ladarius Smith is a guy that plays both sides of the ball because he's such a poor tackler. I could easily see him lined up at receiver. Now let's talk about the guys that, man, we might have a chance at here. And the biggest one, Bobby Mathis. Look at this guy. 6'7", 244. He is a 3-star prospect. And remember the recruiting rules. We can only recruit what our prestige is and less. So we are at a 3-star prestige after last season. So I'm going to go after a 3-star player now. We were preseason top 5, so we're still eligible. And he is in the Midwest, out of Nebraska. We're going to throw the house at him. Put 8,000 on him. Matter of fact, I'm going to take some away from Alex Hickey here. I don't really want him. And, you know, I'm going to throw it on him. He's a massive guy. B power moves. I mean, this guy could be, I mean, it looks like he can play anywhere on the defensive line. So why not go after this guy? He's got lower strength, so maybe just defensive end. I don't know. But, man, I'd be foolish not to go after him. And then the next guy is Brandon Palmer. He's a pretty good receiver as well. Good speed. I don't really know what kind of receiver he's going to be. I guess we'll have to see when we unlock his ratings. Alex Hickey is a guy that, you know, these are just guys that, you know, the computer added to the board, or we added to the board that we're interested. And I don't see any of these guys really making a difference anyway. So let's just see what we get. So we get some good news. Bobby Mathis, big 6'7" Bobby Mathis, does commit to the Whitetails. It's going to be fun seeing him and Colson Kavoris. I'm excited to see his ratings actually when we do look at our roster. And doesn't look like we got really anybody else. So I think our recruiting class next season is going to be our best ever, because if you think about it, you know, we couldn't really go after too many 3-stars. We have a bunch though. We have Justin DiRoberto, Mathis, but now we're going to get to go after the CPU created 3-stars. So that's going to be fun to get after all those guys. We ended up with a 114 ranked class, and mainly because of our custom recruits are kind of lower stars as well. And I think we're going to add to that as well. Bobby Mathis ends up being our best recruit at 6'7", 244. So a couple of things I want to highlight here at position changes. Justin DiRoberto comes in at 65 overall. I did not expect him to come in this high. 73 throw power, 78 accuracy. He's going to be redshirted because of Adam Miller's senior year. Sad year for all the seniors, man, because these are the guys we all started with. Adam Miller's coming in as the starter, and that's not going to change. That means that quarterback Nathan Beaver is going to be unselfish here. He approached us in the office. He told us that, Coach, I want to play on defense and offense, and I want to just get some more reps in practice on defense. So let me switch full-time to free safety. He's going to be the starter at free safety next season. You know, Eddie McMahon is there, but I just did not see enough from Eddie McMahon when he started. I definitely like Nathan Beaver a lot better there, and he's going to have 3 more years to play there. So just remember that. He's going to be an anchor on this defense. His awareness is going to go up because of the position change to defense. So it's going to be exciting to see him develop. So the backup quarterback, just in case, but Nathan Beaver's still going to play quarterback, is going to be Bryant Simmons. So on plays when maybe Nathan Beaver can't play quarterback and for some reason Adam Miller can't either, maybe he's hurt or something, Bryant Simmons is going to have to assume that backup role at quarterback now. So looking at training results, Adam Miller goes up second most on the team with +5 overall. He had a big offseason. He's ready for that senior season. And just looking at the top guys here, you know, not too many guys actually are high in overall right now, but you see a lot of improvement with a lot of these guys. Let's highlight the big ones here. All right, just to show the difference between Adam Miller and the other quarterbacks here, his accuracy is at 78. Bryant Simmons isn't too far behind at 73, and that just shows how good Justin DiRoberto, who's going to get the red shirt this year, is going to be on this team. He already comes in at 78 accuracy. Man, another year just sitting and maybe learning a little bit, he's going to improve quite a bit to take over for Adam Miller eventually. At running back, the duo at running back is going to be Jacoby Beck, Jabari Blaze, but just take a look at Adam Murphy, man. He's 81 strength, our highest strength at running back. He's got 83 trucking. Look for him to get more carries on the goal line this season. And then I want to highlight Bam Cameron, who is the receiving back out of here. He's the quickest at 94 acceleration. Just watch out for him. He's got good catching, and I think that he's going to be a really viable option out of the backfield now. He's only 5'6", really slippery as well. Just take a look at him in shotgun situations. He's definitely going to be on the field. Solid progression out of all the receivers across the board. Brett Hill, the most notable one, goes up +5 in catching, +5 in route running. So all of our guys improved quite a bit, and they're ready. I mean, this is a good receiving core to me. In the Season 2 offseason, we had a transfer come over, and it is Dante Nichols. This guy is going to be good. He's got 86 pass block, 78 run block, 82 impact block. He is one of those transfers that's going to make a difference for the next 3 seasons too. He's 77 overall. He's probably going to end up being our highest rated guy probably ever to graduate in the first few seasons. So it's going to be fun to see him play on the offensive line. I want to see our ends progress to be pretty good, especially rushing the passer. And it starts with just up front with Derek and Pinto and Shaq Royal on opposite sides of the defensive tackle here. And just looking at them, pursuit at 81 for Derek and Pinto. That's pretty good. His power moves a little low, 59. But looking at Alvin Ebiselli, his finesse moves went up to 87. So definitely going to be getting him more burn. And then looking at Shaq Royal, he's at 82 speed now, 51 awareness only. But looking at him, he's got a hit power of 80, block shed at 69. Not overly impressive. We'll have to see how he does. Left outside linebacker is the biggest position in camp as far as just a battle for the starting job. And it starts with Patrick McGee and Richard Lewis. But I want to take a look at Blake Childress. Let's just look at their ratings as far as outside linebacking goes. And what's important, you need to be a good pass rusher. And Blake Childress has that. 82 finesse moves, 73 block shed, 73 pursuit is pretty good. But looking at the veterans here, Patrick McGee, a little bit of a better attribute here in zone coverage, 69 to 68 compared to Childress. Richard Lewis is 67 as well. But there's not much separating all these guys except Richard Lewis is good in man coverage. Patrick Lilly is all right, but I don't really see him doing much. And then McGee has better pursuit a little bit and then better block shedding. So I don't think there's a big difference between these guys. So this is a position to watch out for in camp. I know you guys wanted to see the progression of Nathan Beaver at safety now. He goes up to 72 overall, which is pretty good. Only 2 ticks behind McMahon, but like I said, Beaver is going to start. But now he gets boost in the coverage ratings, going up to 77 zone. Pretty good. 64 play rec. I wish it was higher, but 73 pursuit is not bad. His tackling actually is the best out of all these guys at 78. And look at that hit power, 85. He's going to come in with some big hitters from that safety position. I'm excited for Beaver at safety full time now. It's going to be fun to see him play. So this is actually the most roster cuts I've ever had to make in any series. I had to cut 17 guys at least. So I'm going to cut a bunch of the computer generated guys and a bunch of the guys that may have been here by the computer or recruited by the computer or whatever the case may be. And I'm going to keep all the custom players. I'm just going to cut it down here and we'll see the final result. The hard part about making cuts here is that I have to cut guys that are actually good because I want to get custom recruits in here over the computer generated guys or guys that have just transferred. So Justin Pollard, who actually transferred last season and he's going to have his first shot at playing, he's going to be cut because I just don't have room for these many guys and I had to make a ton of cuts here. And so is Benny Henley, who we just had as a transfer. He's going to be cut in favor of Chris Coretta, Javon Oliver, and then also Price Greer and Shaffer. So yeah, I'm going to have to cut him. So the Big Ten had a huge year this year. They finished with 8 total teams ranked in the top 25. And then we did actually end up promoting Navy up to the Big Ten. Remember, there's a promotion relegation system that we have going on. And then Rutgers moves back into the Big Ten. We'll see how they do with their second chance. So then we decide to make a couple of more changes. And I decided to actually demote Houston all the way down to, I think I put them in the Conference USA because they are not doing good at all. And they just had like a back-to-back one-win season. So they're no longer going to be eligible for our conference. But we ended up promoting Ohio to our conference. Now they moved from the MAC to our conference. We'll look at their ratings. Matter of fact, let's just look at them now. There is a way for us to look at all the teams' ratings in our conference. Let's just look at that really quick because I did base that off of ratings. So one team that moves into our conference as well is Appalachian State. You see how good they are. They're 93 overall, 95 on offense, 90 on defense. They're going to be good. Cincinnati moves back into our conference. They are 91 overall as well. And then Maryland gets demoted. They have a 97 offense, so they're going to be good. And look at Ohio. They're not the greatest team. You see this, but they're ranked top 10. So they'll get their shot at better competition. And I actually put in Vanderbilt as well. I brought them over from the Sun Belt because they got demoted in season 1 from the SEC down to the Sun Belt, but they never made it back. So I'm actually going to put them here in the American, see how they make it. But look at us. We are still 50s overall. We still have a long way to go to even get to the level that all these other teams are at. And just looking at Marquette, they're at 90 overall offense, but an alright defense. So this is going to be an interesting year. There's no protected rivalries this year as well. I don't know how that actually went away, but for some reason we do not have that as, oh no, we do have protected rivalries, so I'll have to set that back up. Oh yeah, it's still set up. So I think these are going to be the protected rivalries here, and I'm just going to keep it the same. So obviously we're protected with Marquette. So let's look at the schedule heading into season 4. Now, you guys highlighted before that you wanted to play Illinois, so that's what we will do. We will open up the season versus Illinois at home, and since we finished with the better record last season, they will come to us. And then the rivalry renews with Wisconsin. We will sign a 2-year contract to play them 2 years in a row, and we will go to Camp Randall and play them on the road. We do get a bye before playing our first conference game versus Maryland, who did get demoted, and we will play them. They have an explosive offense, but then we have a tough game here in a pretty tough stretch of 3 games, going on the road and playing number 22 TCU in Texas. That's going to be a tough game. Then we go on the road and play the new looking Marquette. Remember, Garrett Colbert, their quarterback, and also Hurd actually goes on and moves on as well. So they're going to have a new quarterback. I have no idea who it's going to be. And then we play Ohio, but at least that one is at home. So we get to play every new team that has come to the conference. So then we go on the road at Vanderbilt. We actually play Cincinnati at home as they rejoin our conference. And then we end the season SMU, Memphis, and Tulane. We kind of end that same way each year, which I'm going to kind of switch up. We'll see how Tulane does this year. If Troy Davis ends up getting fired, I'm definitely going to make a change to Tulane because it just doesn't seem like they're a good fit in this conference. Now, in the intro, you saw Xavier Storm is coming over. He is still on Kansas. I do need to switch him over to our roster, but looking at his ratings, 91 speed, 91 acceleration. He ends up being pretty elusive as well. His receiving skills aren't as good as what we thought they would be, but when he gets the ball in space, he's going to be electric with that 91 acceleration, 91 speed. He's going to be a burner for sure. I do want to look at Bobby Mathis's ratings because he is 69 overall. We're thinking about redshirting him, but he might be too talented to kind of keep off the field. He is a second-rated defensive end. But looking at our defensive tackles, I mean, he would be the best-rated defensive tackle right now ahead of Justin Jameson. But I do still like Brad Robinson. Brad Robinson had a big year, so definitely on pass rushing situations, I think that big Colson Kavoris will get in as well, and then Mathis will also as well. But I like Kavoris simply for his run stopping ability, and also John Berg, who we actually did redshirt last year. Let's just take a look at John Berg. He's actually pretty decent. I'd say he's an all-around defensive end, but Colson Kavoris definitely has that run stopping ability that maybe even Shaq Royal doesn't have. And let's just look at the difference between the two defensive ends here. I mean, you're looking at 78 tackling from Shaq Royal and 78 or 80 hit power, but look at the difference in block shedding and power moves. Kavoris is 80 power moves to Shaq Royal's 69 block shedding, and Kavoris is 73. So Kavoris is going to play in his freshman year, so watch out for him. So that is going to do it here in this episode, and I do still need to get some stuff together with creating the custom recruits and doing all that stuff. So expect a episode out within the next couple of days. It takes a little longer just to create those guys. It takes a long time to actually, get those submissions created in the game and just get everything organized for the next season. So that is going to do it here, and I do not know who's going to be redshirted yet. I'll probably highlight that before the first game. I'll have to look to see who is going to kind of be good in practice, because I did have an issue with my practice mode. When I went to practice before, it would kind of freeze the game. So hopefully that is fixed. I don't know if maybe going past another season will fix that, but I guess we'll see. So see you in a couple days with this episode and with this series, and we'll get that next episode out. So hit subscribe, hit that like button, stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.